found it so well. And to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened One. Oh. So entering a session when we are making determination, focus, into direct knowing, vajjanati, rather than just construing and conceiving and analysing and stirring up the thinking mind. I'm going to kind of go to the direct knowing. This can be quite a journey when we spend a lot of our time doing exactly thinking and planning and all the abstract stuff that seems to be required for our lives in this modern technological planning, organising age, with options and things to consider at every moment of the day. So the thinking mind abstracts, which means rather than direct experience, we're thinking what could, should, might, better, in the future, in the past, somebody else, what I should, how I should manage this, and all these kind of considerations, which, yeah, that's how it works, isn't it? But then the overall result is a degree of stress, good degree of stress and mental overwhelm. So direct knowing, we're using something very simple, such as the presence of our own body. But even this can be difficult to do that gear shift. Yeah. So clearly we try to sit in quite a deliberate way, so the body is definitely very fully there. It's not just a casual bystander. We really bring it there, and that helps to act as placing, standing or sitting, or even reclining, or maybe even walking, but definitely embodiment begins to act as a kind of a counterbalance to the frantic zigzag energies of the thinking mind. We're coming into the rather more rhythmic energies of the body, and those two wheels, the body energy and the conception energy, like a gear, and body energy starts to grab or slow down thinking mind. But it's important that the body feels comfortable in the first place. So just sitting is still, without doing very much, is itself a rather unusual activity for contemporary humans. So we apply some conceptual stuff to bring that around. First of all, we try to create what's called the proper territory, the safe territory. And this begins with acknowledging right in front of my body is harm, no harm. Behind me, no harm. Relaxing the muscles. And then deliberate recollection, of which there are many topics. Recollection means you bring up a quite simple thought and listen to the resonances that it generates. So skillful thought. So we consider harmlessness, for example. The quality of that. There's a word there. And if you undertake and commit to harmlessness, to non-harming, whether you occasionally lapse or not, but that's your ground, then there's a certain called punya, or merit, value, that becomes a reference point in your heart. Oh yes, and you go back to that. Touch that quality in the heart that enjoys and feels very comfortable with non-harming, non-violation, honesty, trustworthiness. So we recollect the virtues that we aspire to and make an effort to fulfill. These are heart qualities. So essentially, thinking mind is abstract, heart is direct. You really feel something. Keep the thinking minimal. The quality itself. Pick up perhaps the body's breathing, the two together, the body breathing, contemplating harmlessness, the experience of it. How it affects you. You may think it's within you, but it's not really in a place, is it? It's in the heart. And the heart is not inside something. The heart is the heart. It's in its own domain. This is such an important transfer from thinking mind, which is one aspect of sense consciousness, which is always located in a particular place, a particular time. There's a body here, as an entity. And then the heart consciousness, or citta, we can reflect upon events that happened many years ago in calendar time, because the citta doesn't move in terms of time or space. That's why it's such an important feature of our experience to touch into and illuminate. It is also an area that can get very frightened and hurt and have grudges and negativity. So we bring up a positive quality that we can easily understand, conceptually very easy, emotionally powerful, in a gentle, suffusive sense. It's not exciting, but it's gladdening and it's calming. And you pick it up. First of all, bodily harming. I want to refrain from that. And verbal harming, accusing, cursing, gossiping. We bring up that aspiration. And if we have failed, we acknowledge that as a fault, that discomfort. Okay, just open around that. Don't linger in it. Acknowledge it. A sense of recognition. And then don't go to the topic, go to the energy, feeling disturbed by one's loss of mindfulness, and re-establish mindfulness on the sign of the beautiful, the uplifting sign, the kalyana. Harmlessness, truthfulness, sharingness, givingness, generosity. Modesty. And these are not just sort of like personal attributes, these are universal. Heart is not a person. In terms of the heart, the person is a kind of a rather an obstacle generally. But the heart is not a person. It's a thing of beauty to be protected and cared for. So when recognize that confusion, ignorance, reactivity has taken over, this is not the time to be blaming and punishing. This is the time to be loving and forgiving. There could be no growth without this warm-heartedness. See the error. Notice particular occasions when you've noticed that in others, these qualities, and when you've noticed it in your own actions and speech. So make it specific. Make it specific, it will definitely support your behavior. You sense in yourself those areas where you get jumpy or reactive. There's where the problem is. Can I just patiently resist that reactivity, bear with it, and very gently and lovingly open beyond these reactive states into something more wide, expansive, uplifted. And these are real experiences. And if you cultivate repeatedly, slowly, thoroughly, that expanse of the heart becomes a sign, or a nimitta, like your never departing shadow. Except it's not a shadow, it's a light. And you can then sit in that. It becomes something where the body feels stress-free, uplifted. And you place your experience of body within that heart, and instead of feeling defended or stressed or tense, the body begins to also relax. Thinking mind quietens down, because all the energy is going into cultivating this skillful state. So this smoothing and opening of the field of the heart and the field of the body becomes a field of punya, and you dwell in that. This is the basis for what's called samadhi, where the energies of the heart and body become very steady and happy. Thinking mind quietens down. This is the prime place where knowing opens very fully, unrestricted. Boundless. So just lift your attention and listen quietly. And I'll offer a brief discourse.
Brahma Chalokadipati Sahampati Katanjali Anadivaram Ayachata Santita Sata Arajaka Jatika Desi to Dhammam Anukampimam Bhajam.
Wow, very impressive. Sounds like you've gone astral. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Okay. So, I thought I'd respond to a question or two. Someone's asking, is it necessary to have an attitude of sanctity or divinity when one is mindful in the sati sampajanya way? Do we acknowledge existence of attributes like humility or inspiration? Is that enough to know the wisdom that arises is a noble truth? I find myself unconsciously striving to being in the knowingness, even during mundane tasks, and things are getting too mucked up in my head. I get the doubt maybe I'm being an imposter, but at the same time I'm very glad I got this unconscious urge to go to the Buddha and not listen to the crazy muck in my head. Well, what is the sign of one entering sati sampajanya state? One lives in the mundane life. Someone else asks similar question. Is it possible to live, get anywhere on this path living in the lay life? Seems we're always so overwhelmed with worldly concerns. Do you have to be monastic? Well, the Buddha did teach he made sure he wanted to bring his teaching to not just samanas but to lay people. That was almost one of his primary interests. So when he talked to his people who were most available to him, the 5 former friends and colleagues who knew him, he felt he had some access to. Once they had realized truth, he said, go walk around in the world, spread the Dhamma to those who wish to hear. And that's what they did, and kept doing, and have been doing for generations, to the extent to which he said, the major accomplishment, I feel the Dhamma Vinaya is secure when I have laymen, laywomen, bhikkhus and nuns all together. Then we've got a very firm container, and this Dhamma will continue. It's not just be a remote monastic practice for a group of recluses. So that was definitely his wish and intention. And of course, that's why we're teaching. Otherwise, why bother? But I really sympathise with the kind of overwhelming nature of worldly concerns. But that's what Sati Sampajanya is about. And about called wise, also yoniso manasikara, wise reflection, or wise attention, or deep attention. And this is what helps to establish Sati Sampajanya, mindfulness and full direct knowingness. Right? Because with this we're able to use one of the most flexible aspects of our experience, which is our thinking mind. Can jump around very quick, well, you'll know that. Or you grab hold of it and you bend it. You say, let's consider, interrupt the flow of thought and consider things like death. This is called anusati. Bring particular topics to your mindfulness. So it's not just about being receptive, though that is, I would say, a big part of it, but it's also being directive. Bring to a topic like death to your into your conscious mind, and then take it into your heart. What does that mean? Ending of all this. Where am I going? What's valuable? What's really important if I die tonight? So this is often considered a primary topic. Then a lot of the kind of petty squabbles and details over the nature of the furnishings and so forth begin to forget all that. And then we might also bring, of course, the signs of the Buddha, the compassionate friend, and the Dhamma, the progressive wheel that we can make progress with by entering it. And there's a topic there. And Sangha, the community of all those lay monastics who cultivate this way and follow the wheel of the Dhamma. So, we bring these to mind, just bring them clearly to mind and take them in. And how does it feel? So this is the journey from the thinking mind to the heart. How does it feel? So we're not right now trying to be mindful, or trying to be the knowing, or trying to establish anything in terms of that. We're just using that energy of trying to bring particular topics from the mind into the heart. And of course, this is why we have Buddha images. You can pick that up, you look at it. What does that mean stillness, serenity, human being, just like me in many respects, well, some respects anyway, my friend who's come to teach me. Now, you might say this is all imagination, but the mind is imagination. We imagine tomorrow. We imagine what's outside the door. We imagine how much things are going to cost. We imagine what's going to happen in the next 5 years. The mind is all about imagining. Imagining what people think of me. Imagining whether I'm worthwhile or not. Imagining how good I am. Imagining how bad I am. It's a constant imagining thing. But we take some of its imaginings as fundamental fixed realities. But they're not. They're just perpetual imaginings. We keep imagining ourselves into existence in a very, often a very uncomfortable and very unsatisfiable way. Because something takes hold of our mind. This ignorance and craving and distress takes hold, and it begins to bring to mind qualities that are stress-inducing and qualities that all label everything me. My this, my that, I'm not this, I could be that, people think this of me. So then we get caught in this kind of divided state. There's a me here and a world out there, and I'm trying to make it work. Well, it doesn't work. Because that's not where you are anyway. That's just the way it looks, and the way your thinking mind creates it. Where are you? Now you try and find yourself in that whirl of thoughts and impressions. All you find is a whirl of thoughts and impressions. Where are you? Okay, take it another way. Where's the suffering? Where's the stress? Where's that? Is it in the thoughts? No, it's in my heart. Okay. Well, if I'm anywhere, however loosely I consider that, it's going to be right here in my heart. That which is affected by sorrow and pain, that which is the centre of my motivation. Right? Now when we come to that place, there's definitely his heart, there's definitely sensitivity. I still don't get a me about it, because all the me's were related to particular circumstances and events. This heart isn't that way. It's an experience of joy and sorrow, just emotional waves, energies that shiver or rush. That's that territory. When we were born, that's what we came in on. When we pass away, that's what we go out on that. That's where we are. Except where we are doesn't have a me in it. The me is a series of names and behaviours and memories that occupy it. And they always occupy it in a way that creates a division between me and other people. Not much good can come out of that. But in the heart, we sense, there's Joseph or Karen, and they're there, and that's yesterday, and that's summer. All these impressions, they're in one place. There's no me and others in that place, right? There's my grandfather, and there's my children, and there's, my fear, and there's my agitation. They're all in the same place. This may not seem much comfort, but when we arrived at the one place, we've actually arrived at what we call one-pointedness, ekagata, which means this is it. Now you know what to deal with, and you can deal with it directly. It means this is an experience of stress and conflict. What's needed isn't an idea. It isn't trying to be something. It's not a Buddhist concept. It's just a quality of compassion, love, calming, stability. You're holding it carefully. And if it's held carefully, it will shake, but it will begin to settle down because it recognizes the quality of being held carefully. Yeah? This is what mindfulness does, right? And then, I'm being mindful now. I didn't realize it because you didn't have a word for it. So you do it first, and then you get the words for it, right? You do it, and you do it when you directly enter the real. And so, and we need some help with that because, well, the real, or at least the actual, might be pretty uncomfortable. I mean, everybody's in some degree of shock these days, it seems. And I can fathom why. Shock, stress, overload, fear, anxiety, Yeah, so to enter that actuality, most of us are going to need some friendship, kalyana mitta. And that can be people, real people, or even people you remember, who, they come into your heart and think, oh yes, I have been befriended. He said some wise, steady, calming things. Yeah? And then some of the loneliness and the overwhelm begins to dwindle. And of course, the Buddha said, if there's one thing that you should recollect that the Tathagata has come into this world out of compassion for beings. He teaches a Dhamma accessible, available, direct, opanayiko, progressive. It leads, leading, something can lead. Pacitang, you're authentic, you know it, your experience. So this is a sense of a realm of direct practice. If I apply very simple principles to this heart, not complicated notions, not refined techniques, but a very simple principle, the heart is the most valuable quality that makes me a true human. Otherwise, I'm just a reptile or a machine or a frightened animal. This heart is what makes me a proper human. This heart is what the Buddha purified and extended to allow to extend, encouraged to extend, to encompass the hearts of others. This is the heart that goes out of the sensory world, and its going out is called unbinding or nibbana. This is the most precious thing. It doesn't mean you can have to ignore your duties and your family, otherwise the Buddha wouldn't have bothered to teach it to lay people. No, you bring that quality in, and then you place your friends, your relatives within that, and even your concerns. And instead of thinking, oh, tomorrow, you just think, oh, here's agitation. Because when we enter the world of the heart, the phenomena get much simpler. So instead of, I should be this, am I practicing correctly, am I really got my mind, am I properly attuned to sati sampajanya, this is agitation. This is doubt and agitation. The heart knows that. It simplifies the narrative to very simple, direct heart experiences. This is agitation, this is doubt. How does that feel? And if I use the sense of my bodily presence, bringing that up behind, into play, feeling the steadiness of the body, and then just a gentle holding, non-proliferation, soothing. That's what it needs. So we go from a hyper, overactivated state to balance, homeostasis. Right? And once you arrive at homeostasis, which is balance, the citta that feels balanced is literally in harmony. That's what it means. And harmony is a sweet experience. And then from a place of harmony, then we can address our concerns saying, well, this doesn't fit, that's how that is, and just need to, if I don't come from the right place, nothing's going to bring forth much fruit. It can also be the case that we feel very flattened and shut down, or lost and alone. This means, like hypo means I just feel like half dead or numbed out. And so this is unfortunately is another condition that's common, because when the heart just gets overwhelmed with stress and doubt and worry and depression, agitation, it basically just shuts down. I don't want to, just don't want to know anything, don't want to feel anything. Therefore, we deliberately introduce the notion or the memory of Buddha, not just as a religious icon, but as that presence that is loving and guide, stable and reliable. What would that feel like? Can you move? So we make offerings to the Buddha. The way we relate to Buddha is not just thinking about it, but also a sense of I offer to that. Because it gets something moving. When the heart has gone frozen, then, or closed down, one of the most remedial things is to chant. Chant very simple phrases and make your voice and your chant an offering to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. Then the chanting stimulates a heart resonance. It's one of the basic practices that are encouraged to send a positive energy into the heart. So this is what you try, this is what you direct. Direct not to attain some state in the future, whether it's sati sampajanya, clear knowing, full awareness, or whatever it is. When you conceive it, it's an abstract. Once you think it, it's an abstract. Right? I'm not saying it actually is, but once you think it, the thinking process makes that an abstraction, right? Now we've got something very concrete that is not abstract. This is fear, this is safety, this is steadiness, this is the simplicity of sitting. Now, if we consider, as people do on retreats, I have to be mindful, develop samatha or vipassana, and how long should I sit, and what particular process should I go through, and will I arrive at a certain state? It's already gone. It's already lost. Not that these states, there are beautiful states. Not that there aren't beautiful states, but as soon as we conceive, we go into the world of conceiving, and it's not connected to your heart. So when you talk about meditation, be very careful. Sometimes we know too much. We know much too much. And you want to say, look, what is needed now is stability. Where's that going to happen? Focus on the sign that your heart is actually asking for. I need space. Focus on the space around your body. Move around. Open your body up to it. You need space. Give it space. If you do this carefully and directed two skillful actions then open up your receptivity to feel the effects. This is the two-way process, regulates the nervous system, brings us into balance, and then we have, if we just hold our attention there receptively, this is mindfulness is established. Mindfulness both focuses on a theme, sustains that focus on that theme, sustains it in a way that's sustainable. This is not a tight grip, this is a careful hand, right? Hold it steady. Doubt can't hold it steady. Don't go to thinking. If you're going into thinking, notice your thinking, go back to the simple theme of body, breathing, space, no hurry, no pressure, things that are conducive to the settling. The receptivity then begins to become open and available. In other words, you're not flooded. Right? So we want to be open, but not to sense data. You want to be open to the energies and the sensitivities of the heart. And that requires careful custodianship to sense that this is not going to let the heart wander off or be assailed. So we establish a clear boundary. And then you take in, and you take in positive themes. This allows the quality of sampajanya to have to be continually dealing with lots and lots of details, so it just is able to linger and sense, oh, this is the feeling. It feels like this. It surges, it moves, it changes. This is an agitation. It rises, it surges, it changes, it subsides. This is a sense of joy. It rises, it surges, it shifts, it moves along. That's sampajanya. When experience becomes waves moving through, that's sati sampajanya. When experience becomes waves, that you can get the sense of it wells up and it passes and it subsides, then you have properly established sati sampajanya. If that's not the case, what you're doing is getting locked into something, tensed by something, then you've got to use your thinking mind and say, what is this? This is a sense of trying, striving, wanting to get somewhere. How does that feel? So we transfer from concepts to feeling. You feel it. I mean, it can be pleasant, it can be unpleasant, but essentially you use the feeling faculty, the ability to be sensitive, because that it doesn't experience abstract points like the thinking mind does. It goes from Monday to Wednesday to last year to It experiences waves, surges, waves. And if we can hold steady those waves and widen our attention to give those waves room to move, they will rise and subside. This gives you a sense of dispassion, because you sense it's just a wave. It's not me, it's not them, it's a wave. And it moves through, and then when it moves through, what's here? Open, quiet. It's not mine. You don't have to grab it, claim it, because then you put a fence around it. You just let it flow. And this is the way that the unawakened mind wakes up, and the unawakened heart relinquishes its agitations And that relinquishment and that passing is called the path to Nibbana. Now, the path to Nibbana itself can be a pretty massive topic, but think of it like this. Every time something that sticks in you, you release. That's a little Nibbana. Every time you're getting caught up on some opinion about yourself and what you are and what you aren't, and you see that's just a view and an opinion, it feels like this, and you feel the feeling of gripping and holding, and you relax it and it disbands. That's another little Nibbana. Those Nibbanas start adding up. Once you get the feeling for it, you're no longer frightened or upset by what your mind does, because if you know those waves and you transfer it into waves, no wave, waves are not walls, waves are not rigid, waves flow, and then when they're passing, there's that peace. And a little bit of your habit, your reflex, your fear, your reactivity dies, ends. A little bit of me fades out. Oh, life is so much better without a me in it. Having to try to be something and not being something, this is a real weight off the mind. So it's a very beautiful, open and loving state or practice to enter into. As you can see, I'm rather keen on it. Because it's ongoing, you know, and the sense consciousness keeps throwing things in that do stir us, and with justifiable, absolutely, anxiety. But a wise person recognises there's only so much you can really manage. The world's going to roll on in its way. There's only so much you want to engage with, because how much are you going to do? You got this heart. That's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. Know what your job is. The rest of it's just, housework. Keep your place tidy. It's called pacchattam. Know it in yourself. Know it in your own experience. Right in the middle of your reactions. When you experience a powerful reaction, don't get reactive about it. Everybody gets reactions. Once you experience a reaction, just stop, open. Here's a reaction. Reactions are like this. There's a wave. Don't add the guilt, the blame. Don't add the should be to it. Just, and then it will subside. By removing the influences that keep the fire blazing, the fire dies out. So, offer this for your consideration, and hopefully, maybe a few things I've said, 1 or 2 points might be something you can linger in for your welfare. Thank you.
Andamayam Dhammakataya Sadhu Kadam Dadamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami.
So, thank you, friends. And I placed this session at this time. I'm in East Coast of America, so I thought I'd use the opportunity to try to reach out to the people on the West Coast. It's the time zone's a little more comfortable, and that's that's one of the benefits of traveling around the world. So may we meet again, and please look after yourselves. You've got a very precious thing there to take care of. So I'll finish with our respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the blessed one. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to.
So Luang Por, thank you so much for another very insightful and powerful and useful session for many of us. Please accept our three vows. Brothers and sisters, let us all bow with gratitude to Luang Por. Thank you so much, Luang Por.
Bye for now. Take care.